we go. Yeah.
I love that beginning. That's so awesome.
Yeah, because it's coming. Get it? It's coming.
It is.
Like
It's
military creator.
It'll be here before you know it, which is awesome.
It's gonna be fun. Fun times.
Yeah.
You remember fun times in your life?
I do. Actually, it's funny. You just mentioned that. And the first thing that came to mind was playing hooky with my mom from school. My mom would just, she would decide, like, I was always waiting for her to say it's a hooky day. And we would play hooky, and we would go to the LA County Museum of Art in LA. And that was our hooky day. Sometimes we'd take a lunch, a picnic, but most of the time we just,
The LA County Museum of Art?
Yeah.
That
was our hooky day.
Fucking not really hooky, because you're actually learning something.
Well,
probably more than what you learn in school.
I was very art focused as a kid. I mentioned to you, my mom's a famous painter, and I grew up in an entertainment industry family, so to speak. And so when I was little, this was pretty much, I think, kind of just before my parents divorced. And then when we got back, we lived in Illinois for 2 years. I was born and raised in sort of Beverly Hills. And then we moved to Illinois. My mom was teaching art in Illinois at the U of I. And then we came back to LA. So it's kind of always in LA, obviously, before and after Illinois. We would go there and we would talk about Giacometti as a sculptor and, kind of look at all the different things that were, all the art that was happening. So I got very educated in terms of the realists. My mom's an abstract expressionist. So I saw a lot of really cool exhibitions and shows. And one of my favorites, because I was very fashion oriented, was they had like all of these, I call them costumes, but they actually wore these amazing dresses back, like Queen Elizabeth and, all these different wardrobes. I can't remember. My favorite was actually the Egyptian. There's a whole area for Egyptian art, and King Tutankhamun. What was his name? Tutankhamun. There you go. King Tut. Tutankhamun. There you go.
So you have a creative spark in you already.
Yeah, I mean I never was sure that's what I would end up making my name on, but yeah, because my dad was in the wholesale car business. He was a businessman in financing and stuff like that, did fleet sales. And my mom became a famous painter. One of her pieces is actually in the LA County Museum of Art in their permanent collection. So I just always thought, my dad's influence was stronger. And but I think I ended up being a very good blend between entrepreneurial drive and creative expression. So I got the best of both worlds.
So how have you been creative in your life? How have you used that creativity in your life?
That's a really great question. I mean, obviously I used it to create my businesses, because I started in corporate America, which was not a great fit for me. Big surprise.
Was it just killing you inside your soul?
No, I was okay. I was okay with that. They just weren't okay with me, because I was, super strong and very direct, and I didn't put up with a lot of shit. And I grew up during a time when women hit that glass ceiling. It was a legitimate thing. So I was with Ernst & Young in mergers and acquisitions and management consulting. And of the two, management consulting was, I had an amazing partner that I worked for, senior partner. He was phenomenal. Dwight Hanger. I remember him. He made a great impact on my life. And then I worked at Krispy Kreme in human resources, vice president of human resources at Krispy Kreme. And the man I worked for there was great, and the culture was great. But it just wasn't, there wasn't a lot of flexibility. There wasn't a lot of, we weren't really fast moving in some of the positions that I held. And so I knew I could do something different. So I ended up starting my own ad agency, a little boutique ad agency, which did very well at first. Like I say it first. We had great clients. We had Nordstrom, we had Robinson's May, I had Estee Lauder, I had MGM Pictures, Sony Pictures. I did basically print production work. I did the LA County, the LA Times. They had some photos that they wanted to put in their executive dining room, and I created all of that exhibit. And then one of my big ones was the Hollywood Bowl Museum. I did all the print production for that, and that I think still has all my work and my name, Lago and Associates, on the wall. But I did a lot of work for Sizzler International, and at the time I did all their menu boards, and then they declared bankruptcy, owing me a great deal of money. So I went belly up pretty, my margins weren't great. There were things you always learn when you have a business. You learn along the way. You plod along and you do the best you can and you ask advice, but there will be things that, potentially you don't know about. And I thought my margins were big enough. I thought they were sufficient, but they clearly were not. So I went belly up, and the only thing I walked away with was the Who's Who of International Entrepreneurs Award. And I'm fine with that. It was okay. And then I eventually started the company that made my name synonymous with Larimar, which is the rare gemstone I specialized in. And I built that business with my ex-partner from 0 to 8 figures in 11 years, unleveraged.
What type of jewelry did you make?
Well, we specialized in sterling silver, but I obviously made gold as well, yellow gold predominantly. I think we specialized in 14 karat because the only thing that was 18 karat was my couture collection, which I still have, which I love. It's mine.
Wait. So what do you prefer? You prefer silver or gold?
It depends on the piece. I don't love that silver tarnishes. It's just naturally how it works. And if you rhodium plate it, I think you destroy the integrity of the color and the feel of sterling silver. So you either love it and love the patinas and what happens with sterling, or you don't. So I love sterling for what it is. For the jewelry I was producing for myself, I only wanted 18 karat gold. I was fussy. That might be a little prima donna.
What did you love about this business?
I loved a lot of parts of it. And we had mining operations, which was, could be very stressful, because in the Dominican Republic, where the stone is from, because it's only found in 1 square kilometer of the world, that stone is artisanally mined. So we had mining operations. I think we had 5 shafts at the time, about 250 people working in the shafts, rotating and stuff. And when it would hurricane, which I live in Florida, like get hurricanes, right? You get hurricanes. And if it ran through the Dominican Republic, you'd get torrential rains if at the best of times, so the mines would flood and we would have to pump water out and, support the miners and take care of them and do that kind of stuff while they waited really for it to be dry enough to excavate more stone. And we excavated a great deal of beautiful stone. And I'm kind of known for the grading scale that's used now. I started doing this in 2000, and there really wasn't a solid grading scale that people knew about. So I sort of developed the grading scale for A, AA, AAA grade Larimar. And we had, like I said, the mining operations, about 5 factories worldwide at different points. And we had about, I think, 780 doors that carried the line, including like Diamonds International. We were on all the Princess cruise ships. We had 3 different shops, one on the Solstice class of cruise line for celebrity. So we did well. We also had, what's crazy, we had all the Cabela stores. So back then they weren't merged with Bass Pro Shops, and I called it the guilt gift, because you go and buy yourself a gun, and then you're like, oh, I better bring something home that she's gonna not have my head for buying this gun. So that was awesome, and I would love that. We would do presentations for Princess and Cabela's because they had so many stores or ships. we would do presentations on what we suggested that merchandise mix looked like. And I enjoyed that. And I loved the production. For me, production was great. I loved prototyping and, sort of having my designs come to life because I designed all the jewelry. But people who know me know I can't draw. Like, just so you know, I cannot draw to save my life. My mother is an amazing artist and painter and top figure drawing and watercolor and all this other stuff. And I cannot draw. So I was a conceptual artist. So I would draw a concept, a generalized feeling or, certain components of something and, pull those out. And then I would have a technical drawer that would come back in and say, okay, this is how I interpreted what Marah drew, and this is what I've come up with based on this concept and these call outs and blah, blah, blah. And I would say 8 times out of 10, it would be really close and needed only a little tweak. And then sometimes it would be like, that's not what I thought it was going to, that's not what I was communicating, but that's good anyway. I like it. I like what you got. Okay, that works. Let's give that a shot.
How did you start from just the idea, the concept of jewelry to the huge business that you grew? Like, how did you, when did that idea come and say, and then it's like, okay, I should start a business?
I fell into it, is the truth. I always have been, like you said, a little bit creative. And so there were times in my life where I would be very interested in finding a certain something to wear or a particular accessory. And I would go out looking for it and couldn't find it. So I sewed sometimes my own clothes. My aunt, who's also from Argentina, who lives in Chile now, she was a fashion designer for Vegas. So she did all the clothing, like showgirl outfits and stuff. And so she kind of taught me how to sew and that kind of stuff. And I kind of made my own clothes, and I started literally started beading like a hobbyist jewelry for myself at a young age. And I had, how it turned into a business was my girlfriends would come to me and say, well, can you make me a necklace for this dance or this event or this prom or whatever? And I learned about, supply and demand pretty quickly. Yeah, it was an awesome way to learn, because I would make this, and then girls would come back to me and say, oh, I loved what you made for so-and-so. I want you to make me one. And then I'd say, well, this is the price. And they'd be like, sure, no problem. Then somebody else would come and say, I want you to make me a design. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm already making one for so-and-so. Well, how much are you paying her? Sorry, how much is she paying you? And I'd say, whatever it was. They'd be like, well, I'll pay you this much more. What the market will bear. There you have it. So that was kind of fun.
So you saw that there was a demand for what you
for beaded jewelry. And when I met my ex-partner, he had this jewelry cart where he sold these, I call them horrible little earrings for $3 each. They were little Swarovski crystal earrings. They were just crap. And so I said, they're just crap. What are you doing? And he said, well, if you think you can do better. I was like, well, okay. So I started designing one-of-a-kind sets, the necklace and the earrings, and with semi-precious stones and sterling silver and gold, genuine precious metals. And they would sell between $300 and $500 a set, which was kind of unheard of for beaded jewelry. And the great thing is you weren't stuck with it. Like if I didn't suddenly like it or it didn't sell, I could snip it, the wire, and all the beads would fall apart, and I could redesign something else. So it was very low overhead that way, which then we fell into selling Larimar, because I found this rare gemstone and fell in love with it, and knew if I loved it, that everybody who saw it would. And that we went on this big treasure hunt to find it, because it just wasn't common. We really brought it to market, and
what's it called?
Larimar.
That's the name of the stone?
Yeah, that's the name of the stone. It's this beautiful blue, Caribbean blue, like stone that looks a lot like the sky with clouds, or the Caribbean Ocean, how blue it is. It's absolutely stunning. And I found it, and nobody really knew what it was. It wasn't really big anywhere in the U.S. So we were the premier dealer worldwide of that gemstone for many years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Find something different, and
I'll put it up. I'll put it up right there. A little picture of it. Yeah, it's nice. Okay,
You
so
know,
is this what you were mining for then? Is that
yeah,
what you
so
start?
we mined that gemstone. Like I said, we had mining operations, and
Okay, so how the fuck did you get from a cart of earrings to you're now doing mining operations? How
yeah,
the fuck did you get there?
yeah, it's
Let's
kind of
just
a
talk
leap.
real let's just talk
Yeah.
real quick about how like the business side of it. How did you get there? And how did you
Well,
know to get there?
so hmm, so the reality is when you have a cart, a kiosk kind of thing in a mall, if you're doing too well, they kind of penalize you because they charge what's called over rent. So your rent is a certain amount. If you start, you know, saying that you earn over this certain amount every month, you start having to pay a portion of your revenues. So we're like, oh, this isn't working. this is not good. So I found this gemstone and I thought, well, let me start working with this. And we walked away from the cart and started doing strictly Larmar. And at the time we were only doing import export because there is a artisanal component to the Dominican Republic. There are artisans who actually kind of hand make the jewelry, but they're all free form pieces. I don't know if that makes sense, but they're nothing that's reproducible exactly the same, right? So it's this piece is shaped like this and this piece is shaped like that, and they would sort of set them in this very rudimentary sterling silver settings that really looked pretty bad. But um, we didn't have any way that we knew of to actually go beyond that. And I just kept getting more and more disillusioned with the quality and what it looked like and the fashion component of it, that sort of style. So I said, I can do better than this. And at the time, my partner said, well, let's go see if we can get some raw stone and let's see how much better we can do. And that's how it started. So we literally went on a treasure hunt to find the gemstone, and it's in a small town. It's just outside of a small town called Barahona, which is about 4 hours outside of Santo Domingo. And the first time we went there, I say it's 4 hours. It took us like 7 hours to get there because we kept getting lost. So I mean,
This
it
is
was
in
like
the Dominican
taking.
Republic, right?
This is in the Dominican Republic, and this is a campo, which is like a little, like not even a town. It's like a I don't even know what you would call it. Like it's just it's called a campo, and
A
so
gathering
it's
of
this
people.
little like it's like there are people who live there. It's like a town. It really is, but it's very small. It's right on the ocean, and we kept taking wrong turns. I'll never forget. And then when we got there, like people were looking at us like, "What are you white people doing here?" Like,
All
"What
right,
are
what
you
are you
doing?"
trying to take from us
Yeah,
again?
what do you want? And then once they realized, and then they were like, "Oh, business! Like it can sell you
Money.
stone. Like, yeah, money.
Yes,
We can sell you
yes.
stone." So then we started. We
So
created
you
like a
found
school.
the
Yeah, we
stone. You
thought
found it.
first we found the stone, and we figured out that we wanted the local artisans to kind of cut it and work with it and create cabochon so that we could then send it to our factory in Indonesia, in Bali, which we did, and we created a beautiful line of freeform jewelry that way. And then I started wanting to have reproducible pieces that we could, because as you grow and get bigger, it's hard, people basically want, if that sold, they want another one of those. And with
Yeah,
freeform pieces, none of them are the same. They're all one of a
yeah.
kind. So I was like, okay, I want to try to do this. And there's a lot of cost involved in that because once you create a design and you literally reproduce it, if it doesn't sell, it's not like you can just take out the stone and melt the silver again. It doesn't really work that way. It doesn't really happen that way. So anyway, it was a little bit stressful. You're buying sterling silver, you're creating the molds and you know creating these designs that you hope will sell well. And that's kind of how that started. And we had the stones all calibrated, so we're cutting exact sizes and shapes and the way they look so that we could have reproducible design. So if you go to my old company, which I don't own anymore, but it's maralago.com, you'll see a lot of my designs. I think the majority of the designs
Mm.
online are still mine.
So your name is still on the company.
Yes.
Interesting. We'll
Yeah.
get to that. But
Yeah.
before we get to that, so
Another learning moment.
I'm just trying to walk people through this. So you started out just creating things for your friends.
Right.
Then you kind of took that to the kiosk level, and then now
Right.
like the store level. But now you're finding mining operations in Dominican Republic. You're
The
working with people
manufacturing level. Right.
in Bali also. So now you're
Bali. Right.
creating
And then in China as well. So
in China. So how? Okay, so
you
I'm
just do
just
it when, as an entrepreneur, as you know, Rex, you kind of just go, well, you know,
I don't think there are entrepreneurs, but most of entrepreneur mindsets. I love this. I want to talk about this
okay.
because everyone thinks they're a fucking entrepreneur. Okay, first of all, because they're making money because they're selling. I don't know. They're they're delivering fucking food, and it's like, oh, I'm a boss bitch. It's like, okay, hold on. You just have a job, okay, or you're selling Amazon stuff. Okay, that's this this. Wait, where's she? This is an entrepreneur mindset right here. Okay, this is like the true entrepreneur. You fucking had an idea and you just figured it out. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of
Yeah.
different people. You're managing a lot of different people, including a relationship on top of that, right? Because you're like co-owner also or something.
Yeah. At the time
I'm
we
sure
were life
there.
partners and business partners.
That's already tough as it is just that. Okay, but now you're having to deal with many different aspects of creating the business, expanding the business,
Right.
and now you're bringing in lots of money. That's an entrepreneur mindset. That because that that takes so much more work, dedication
It's funny because when I
than just
left the
a
company,
few keystrokes. Like,
yeah,
oh, I have a
it's
business
it
now.
it was very challenging. It took a lot. I mean, I credit my ex. We were two sides of the same coin. My weaknesses were his strengths. His weaknesses were my strengths. So we had a great partnership for the time we were together for 11 years. But what I think made me better was the ability to be nimble. I think if you can't embrace a certain amount of calculated risk and you can't be nimble, it's very hard to really grow your business and scale because you've got to take those leaps of faith and to move forward.
Yes, I would like to highlight that this is the original entrepreneur. Those types of that mentality, that mindset, also the actions and the impact behind it. That's the original entrepreneur. That wasn't it wasn't easy back then. When did you start?
Oh no, in
Like
2000, there was no social media back then. So like if I think about what I could have done to my brothers, I think they started that TV show Bering Sea Gold. My brothers kind of created the pilot for that show, and they were like, "We want to do a whole TV series on you, and going to the mines and working with the miners because they're men in the Dominican Republic. Do you think they want to report to a woman? Like it wasn't like everything was challenging. There was nothing that was easy, And
yeah.
I speak a sort of a dialect of Spanish, Rex, as you know, that's a little snobby. My mother came from Argentina, and the way I speak is a little snobby. So, like, the words I use, the way I speak, I mean, nothing went easy for me in that regard.
Yeah, it's not like today. Today,
No.
I can pay $200 and have my own business, and I'm done. And then I click a button, I'm purchasing something in China. Click another button, I'm sending it to somebody
Yeah.
else.
Dropship
Like,
was non-existent really back then. And we really worked hard too. Like, I think where we were lucky in terms of I had a vision. At the very beginning when we started excavating the stone and doing the designs, and I knew I wanted a brand. I wanted to make sure that I had a mission. I had the brand identity. I had this who my avatar was, who my client was, who was she. I understood all of that innately. So I didn't have to worry about that part at all. Like I could see it, and I could see down pipeline. I could see from here where we would end up. Like I kind of knew we would grow, and we did. We multiplied, we doubled year over year over year. And
yeah,
then, we were on television with a company called Shop NBC, which I think has turned into Evine now. So we were on television. I did what we call the design grind, where I would design jewelry just for that shopping channel. And package it and ship it to them and do that whole thing, be on air, talk about designing, talk about the jewelry, blah, blah, blah. All that was exciting and great. And then, they were because it became this really cool big thing, which was, I was on the cruise ships. I was required to do 4 cruises a year. And, the captain would cut the ribbon into the store, and I would have dinner with the captain and, meet and greet and have champagne. It was very glamorous towards the end, but it took a lot of work to get there. And I feel like today, a lot of the influencers and social media people and entrepreneurs, they want it to happen overnight. And it takes hard work, dedication, and momentum, forward momentum. It's not for the faint of heart.
So you started, and then you from starting to what you would consider success in that business, how long was that? What was the gap there?
Well, we grew very fast, I think, but I think it was pretty much to true success was probably.
Well, what do you measure success first?
9 years. Well, I was, kind of, people knew who I was. It was kind of famous. Sometimes I would go places and people would be like, "Oh, I know your jewelry. I know blah, blah, blah." I worked, I've seen your jewelry in the, you have 780 doors. People see it throughout the Caribbean. They, I mean, if you were in that space, if you took cruises, if you traveled to the Caribbean, you knew the line basically. So, and they were talking about it on cruise ships, and that.
So when did that happen? Between when you started and then
I think it was like 9 years in.
Gosh darn it. You see, that's a long fucking time.
It's a long fucking time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
People start a business like this year and they're like, why isn't my business booming?
Yeah.
Well, bro, you're going to.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of failures along the way. Like we tried very hard to employ the local artisans to cut our stones in the Dominican Republic. We bought all kinds of equipment, trained them to do lapidary work to cut the stones, because we wanted to benefit. And we ended up benefiting a great deal, the local economy, the local people. But it was our goal to really grow with them. That was, one of our pillars. So that ended up happening, but not that way. We, kept trying to get them to learn it, and it just wasn't working. So we ended up pulling the stone out of the country and cutting it somewhere else, which was a challenging decision as well. Like every decision's, a pro and con. It's like.
Yeah. So I'm just astounded. All right, because this is, like I said, you're the OG entrepreneur, and how because you conceptualized it, you started it, you grew it, you were successful at it, and you made money with it. Everything that you could do with the business, and then not only that, but now you're starting over with something.
Yeah.
New.
Yeah.
And with somebody like you behind MCC, right there, somebody behind that, it's not going to fail, because you already know how. You've done it. You know what needs to be done. You know what needs to happen. And just with that, the amount of heart that I think that you got from just what you've been through, because this is what I'm trying to tell people, is that Military Creator Con it's not a thing. We are Military Creator Con.
Right.
It's the people.
It's the people.
And you're just one of the peoples that are going to be there to pick brains. You've been there. You've made the success. You've made the money. And there's people that are like, how do I do that? Like, I want to do that. I want work. Where can I fucking go? I'm a veteran and I just don't know where to start. This is a perfect place, man. This is like a great place to start. You're going to have people that have been there, right? Marah, you've been there. You've supported, you've been in the corner of veterans like your whole life. And
I mean, in the jewelry industry, I competed with what I consider to be some of the biggest brands in the world. Tiffany, David Yurman, John Hardy, like those were our competition, and we outsold them in a lot of cases. Just saying.
tell me if I'm right here. Tell me if I'm right, but fucking jewelry, widgets, potato chips, whatever the fuck it was, I still think that you would have figured out a way to make it happen.
I think that's the true heart of an entrepreneur. You figure it out. The whole thing about Military Creator Con as an event, I've never done an event before. I've never done a conference before, nothing, of this size for sure. Like, a party is a lot different than an event. So, and there's so many things to consider. And I have little failures every single day, and little frustrations every single day. And I think if you're the kind of person that can't just push through that, um, that's just life, right? That's just in general, that's life. And building a business is sort of that on steroids.
Yeah. There's people that they're going to say, these are the two types of people. I don't know. And I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to figure that out. I'll have an answer for you. You're that type of person. I'm the same way. This is why we jive, we connect, because, dude, first of all, I'll give you a small but very simple example. When I owned my own home back at like 5 years ago, my fucking water heater broke.
Oh.
I could either cry about it or figure it the fuck out. Right? I've never installed a water heater. I'm not a plumber. I don't know shit about plumbing, but I do know how to figure shit out. So I just went online, saw a few videos. I was like, this is actually pretty simple. Bought a few hoses and the water heater, saved myself like fucking $1,800 in labor. Yep. Just did it. Just do it. Do it. You're a doer.
We are in an unprecedented time. I'll be honest with you. All the businesses, the two big businesses or relatively big businesses that I had, were at such a different time where you didn't have YouTube to help you. You didn't have, especially the veteran community has a lot of resources that I wasn't entitled to because I wasn't involved in the veteran community. I was, pure civilian. Like I didn't have that advantage. And then with the whole advent of AI and where that's going, like, honestly, there isn't an easier, more supportive time to be a creator and an entrepreneur. There's no, and you know how we joke. I joke the kids from the 80s, we drank from fire hoses and we were locked out of the house until dark. Like we grew up differently. But
and I think that's you made a good point there, and I'd like to highlight that here is yes, there are videos on how to do everything. There are manuals and there's manuscripts, there's white pages on how to do everything. You can figure everything out on your own.
Right.
But the reason why you come to places like this is because you don't have to do it on your own. Exactly. Doing things on your own sucks. It takes so much more time, energy, and resources. It's the one thing we're not making is time, and it's the one thing that we're not sure how much we have. So the more people that you have in your tribe, the more people that you have in your corner to help you with different resources and different ways to do it. Like I was just talking with Sia earlier, and same thing. Like when you go, because I know you're going. So when you go to Military Creator Con,
I better hope I'm going.
You're going to get a fucking fast pass to the front of the line because a lot of us have already done it, and we're going to save you so much time, so many fucking mistakes we've made, right? So many manuals we read and videos we had to watch and all that homework. And if you just go and connect with somebody who's already done it, right, who's also a veteran, or many veterans there that have done, these things, they're already involved in the process, or they're alongside with you in that process. They're going to be able to help you out, man, to get you further faster, bro. All you got to do is show up.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because one of the reasons that I love Military Creator Con so much is because when I was in my creative juices were flowing and I was in my creative space, it's kind of lonely. I mentioned that to you in another video we did. It's kind of silo-y. You're kind of in your own little creative bubble. You're working, you're focused, you're doing, and it's like it's very almost independent in a lot of ways. It doesn't have to be, but it can be, right? And, you've got this white piece of paper for me, like this pure, beautiful, pristine white piece of paper. And I needed to come up with a new design for whatever. It was like head down, focus, whatever. But the nice thing about Military Creator Con is you can come out of that and meet other creatives who have a lot of the same issues, a lot of the same, angsts or wins, or, you really can connect and collaborate with other people. And the military community is like nothing else I've ever seen. Like I wasn't involved. You go to Beverly Hills. we just didn't, we didn't have a base near us. I didn't meet a lot of military affiliated people. So when I realized that the military community was an entire brother and sisterhood, I was blown away. I'd never seen people care about each other as much. I'd never seen people try to help each other as much. And I think this is just what we're doing is really just an offshoot of what the military community is already about. We're just doing creator economy and creatives.
Yeah, you're bringing that military camaraderie and
Right.
experience in business and entrepreneurship, like Mara is, and we're just bringing it over to a new location. It's just outside the base. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Same
It's
veterans,
same
same
people.
mindset, same warrior
Yeah.
fucking mentality, same.
Right.
It's,
Which is what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Which is what it takes to move forward is to have a warrior mentality. I mean, that, to be fair, that was my alter ego was a warrior, because it is literally like your every day you're going to war. You've got to put out fires and kiss babies and do all the things that you need to do to move your business, your life, your product, your service forward every day.
so what was your favorite part of making jewelry? Did you like wearing it?
No, it's funny.
You-
People used to say to me, "You're a jewelry designer. You don't wear any jewelry." I'm like, yeah, I know. But I would wear a ton when I was, at personal appearances. I think my favorite part, other than, the acclaim, because there was a lot of acclaim in what I did at the end. I lived meeting people and having them say they loved the jewelry, or even the people who said they hated it. Like, which is definitely, I would walk into the store on the Princess cruise ship, and I would be there and all glammed up, and I would overhear a couple of women to be like, "Oh my God, I love this. I think this is so perfect. I want it." And then there would be another woman be like, "Oh, I think it's over the top. I don't like it. I can't stand it, blah, blah." And I would introduce myself, and they'd be like, "I'm so sorry." I said, "I'm like, don't be sorry. There's something for everyone. Like, you don't have to love my jewelry. There'll be something else that you love." Not taking that super personally was very important, I think, because you could take that rejection and it could like really wound you. Fuck that. Like, I encourage people to be themselves and buy the jewelry and the things that spend their money on what makes them happy, right? If it doesn't do it for you, don't buy my shit, right? So that was great.
Old school trolling back then.
Yeah, but it was a lot smaller. It was like one lady, talking
One
to you.
lady.
Yeah, it's so. I remember this one lady. She was like, "I don't like this piece. It's so like, what was the word she used? But like basically, it was like she thought it was enormous, or gaudy. I think she's called it gaudy. She called it gaudy. I think she called it gaudy. I was like, oh, okay. I totally get that. Like, shall I show you something else? I mean, do you even like Larimar? Because I can show you something that's very petite and small and not gaudy, whatever what you think would suit you. I, however, think this would suit you beautifully, because I'm looking at you and I could just see you rocking it, but up to you." And you'll laugh, but she ended up buying the piece she thought was gaudy because everybody loved it on her. So, I mean, sometimes we have perceptions of, who we are and what we look like. And then we go, wow, let me challenge that. That's great.
Yep. And we're like, oh, everybody else likes it on me. I guess I'll change
I guess I'll try. Let me give it a shot. It's like, I mean, it's great. My favorite part, though, honestly, was prototyping. I loved the whole process of start trying a new design, seeing how it fit, seeing how it worked. That whole R&D process of, figuring out what the trend was going to be, what was going to be the most popular. Because I worked with one gemstone. So unlike other companies, jewelry companies that, work with lots of different gemstones and can have the same design in different gemstones, like you can do it in citrine, you can do it in diamonds, and you can do it in emeralds, the same design. I couldn't do that. I had to come up with lots of designs for one gemstone. So that was really enjoyable to me, finding things that I really thought were cool and things that I would wear. And then I also, of course, had to come up with stuff that I wouldn't wear, that I thought somebody else would look good in, like really evaluate my avatar in terms of my clientele and what would encourage them to put it on and feel good about themselves. So that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Real quick, you guys have peacocks in your backyard? I just
Yes.
saw
Can you
one.
see the peacocks?
I
Yes.
just
Oh,
saw
there.
one walk
Yes.
by.
There's like 8, 9 of them right now. Yeah. There's some.
Do you
It's
feed them?
amazing. No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
You,
They're amazing. I didn't really understand. They can fly and they get really high in the trees. That's where they sleep at night. It's really high up in the trees. They come down and try to eat the cat's food. I'm like, shoo, get away. Don't eat the kitty's food. So.
so, what does a previous jewelry maker slash business owner wear? What type of jewelry do you like to wear now? Like, who's your favorite? You don't have to name drop, but what type of
It's
jewelry?
so I consulted with Tiffany and Company for a couple of years, and I think the majority of my jewelry that's not made by me, because my wedding ring, which I'm not wearing today, my wedding ring, my engagement ring were designed by me. Is Tiffany. I like some of the very, very non-branded Tiffany stuff. So like,
James is
I'm
pumped.
not, yeah, I'm not big on, is James out there with the peacocks?
I see. I saw the peacock again
Yeah, it
walk
just
by.
went by, right? Hi guys. So I'm really like, I don't like the return to Tiffany, the heart, the sterling. First of all, I don't wear any sterling silver. Like I said, I wear 18 karat white or yellow or rose gold. So I like it when I've got designs that are just good designs or designs that are simple. I'm very kind of minimalistic in that way. So there's some beautiful Tiffany stuff.
Do you,
Schlumberger is an amazing designer who Tiffany has all of his work. It's very elaborate. So it's different than what I normally wear day and night, but it's real
do you
pretty.
do you still have some of your old pieces?
Yeah, I do. I have, in fact, James loves to pull it out and pull out my couture pieces and like show people my stuff. He's like, do you
That's
want to see some
cute.
really glamorous jewelry? Let me show you. Yeah.
But that's yours. You're not selling them, right?
No, yeah, they're one of a kind. I designed them just for me. So
That's nice. You said you
yeah, it's
started
awesome.
another business? You said you had two businesses?
Well, I had the boutique ad agency, and then I
Oh
had,
yeah, okay. Okay.
yeah,
So
and
that
then
was
of
yours
course
too.
that was mine too. And then that was before I met my ex, and then I had the jewelry business, and then I've been ever since. I've been a consultant. So I worked after owning my jewelry business. When I sold it, I exited. I ultimately went to work for a gem shopping channel that sold all kinds of gems and different things, and kind of was on television again, not with my own line, but with their stuff, and kind of did that live on air for, I don't know, it was 4 hours
Mm,
straight, a couple of days a week, um,
mm.
which is a totally scary situation.
You want to
You'd
talk
think
about
I'd,
scary? I
yeah,
bet. I bet I'm going to give you a scary. Tell me if this is. Tell me if this was scary.
okay.
Going from owning your own business, all of that to not. Was that scary? That transition?
Um, yeah, there's a loss of identity, which I presume the military space has when you leave service. So I kind of equate it to that. Like, you were a certain rank, you had a certain stature, you had a certain whatever it was, and that's who you were. That was your identity. And then you're no longer that. So what are you? There's that. And that's really challenging. It's really hard to kind of know. I self-identified as an award-winning jewelry designer. I mean, I
You
still
still
kind
are.
of
It's
do.
like an
Yeah,
Academy
still.
Award-winning actor is still going to be that, even if they quit acting.
Yeah, but that's kind of not who I am today. Who I am today is a woman who is a speaker curator for TEDx, and who is bringing, you know, MCC to life with her husband. Like, that's who I am today. I'm very much a military affiliated advocate. And, I see my mission as bringing military voices to the stage, if I have to kind of wheedle it all down to that, right? And connect people. And so, but for a while after, yeah, it was extremely challenging. What could I do to be honest, it's like, what could I do to top that? Like, what am I going to do now that will have that same acclaim or that same success?
Mm.
Um,
Are you trying to top that?
no, so I think that's where things shifted for me. There was at a time, there was a time where I wanted to be more successful than I'd been with my company, Marah Lago. And I think there was a stress I was putting on myself, a pressure I was putting on myself that was completely unnecessary. Um, because, you know, once you make, you're a multimillionaire and you're no longer multimillionaire, you can always do it again. You've done it, you know how to do it, you can do it again. So I kind of figure the same thing will happen again with something else. And for me, my passion now is Military CreatorCon, is really doing and bringing together creatives from in and around the military space. That is, I've bought into that so heavily. And again, I can see down pipeline. So I see what this can be. I see how this can benefit creators in all avenues. Like I reach out on TikTok sometimes to, you know, like there's a leather worker. He makes belts. He's a veteran. He makes these beautiful belts, like super excited about, you know, meeting him in person. There's, you know, there are people who do ironwork and sculpture, and there are people who do quilts, and there's people who do watercolors and photography, and there's people who do films, and there's actors and comedians. And I meet all these amazing, exceptional people, not to mention all the entrepreneurs that I personally can help. So I can't help you with being a comedian. Can't help you with, you know, being a filmmaker, but I can help in that area. So we have other people that are industry leaders in these niches, in these areas that, you know, are willing to help one another and be a part of what's happening and grow their career as well. So, I mean, I've got some very big people that I know that are in the entrepreneurial space that are creators that don't do any content creation. Well, hello, we can help you with that. You know, so there's somebody to, yeah.
It's also who you know, and this is a good convention to find out those other people, to connect with those that who you know, expand on your network, expand on, you know, what can this person do for me, and what can I do for this person, build that network, build that.
I mean, James is amazing. He knows a lot of people. Like his network is very wide and deep. And, you know, I'm very blessed because he's an amazing human. But the people he introduces me to are amazing humans too. Like, I'm excited to see everybody that's going to be there. Like Jamie J, I know, was talking to you the other day. Love Jamie. But Jamie and Sean introduced us to our keynote. Our keynote is this amazing human. He's like, he's huge. He's this big tech guy out of Silicon Valley that has these 5 best-selling books and has, you know, created multi-million-dollar businesses and exited, I think, 3 of them for millions of dollars. Like, talk about entrepreneurial expertise. Like, he's so above and beyond me that I'm just honored that he has, you know, decided to be our keynote. I feel very blessed.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be able to learn lots of things. There are things that I've learned from people, just like you, every day in just a conversation that's worth zillions, right? Because there's making money, and there's also making change within your life. And sometimes there's this one thing, one phrase that even though someone else said it, it's how somebody said it, the way they said it. Maybe the timing in your life, you were not welcome to accept that kind of, you know, phrase or keyword, but
it didn't sink. It didn't resonate yet. Right. What I'm curious about, now that you've mentioned that, what was something that somebody said to you that resonated with you?
So, wow. So ever since I started doing this, like, I take a little bit from everybody, even if it's something that it's just everyday stuff. Like I did a documentary where I traveled all the way. And actually, that was when I met you guys down there in Florida. So I was talking with a few people down there and down in Florida. And I drove up to Virginia Beach to go talk to my new buddy, Tommy. He's an ex-Navy SEAL guy. And, you know, we're talking about working out, finding our fitness, and shooting, how to shoot. Because there's the way that I learned, right?
Right.
Through the Air Force.
A certain
and
way you
then
learn to shoot, right?
there's like the Navy SEAL way, and I'm like, I want to learn that way,
Oh, very.
right?
I'd like to know how different that is.
Yeah, and it's very different. There are a lot of things that I learned along the way that were, and this was the piece of advice, and it's just the way that he said it. It's just now kind of resonated with me. It's just like we were talking about shooting, and he said, "Well, you may have learned that way." He's like, "This is just another way." He's like, "I'm not telling you that this is the way. I'm just telling
Right.
you this is another way." And just the way he said that, I was like, holy shit. Sometimes you have to hear something a certain type of way from a certain type of person to understand, like, dang it. I've been kind of looking for the magic bean, right? The pill, the silver bullet, the this, the that. And I never really looked at it from that perspective that it's just another way. This is
Hmm.
there's just other ways. There's not a way. There's not this
Yeah.
is the way. There is just another way. And I was like, oh man, I can use this in so many aspects of my life, just the way.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's not like the most profound fucking advice, right, ever given. It's just I was open to seeing and listening and hearing from somebody who was trying to, teach me something. And that moment I was able to take away that piece of advice, which is just this is just another way. So
You know what
just
I
like
love about that is it gives you permission.
yeah.
Permission to try something different and to do it your way or to
Do you see?
find
You
another
see?
way. Yeah, just
Do you
gives you
see
permission.
how many branches like this can spread out? So just
Yeah,
even if we bring it back to Military Creator Con, this isn't the convention. This isn't the number one convention in all of time. This is just another way for you to go out, connect, reach people, showcase your value, and see if anybody is there that wants to connect with you. Right? It's just another
absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, which is that, it's not intended. I mean, I don't, my vision is not to be the biggest in the world. Yeah. I don't really give a shit about that and being the biggest conference in the world. I give a shit about having the best community, having a community that's genuine, that doesn't gatekeep, that helps one another. And that's really about creating and growing and collaborating. That's the mission that I hope to bring to life.
And I think you do have that. From the people that I've met so far, they're all
Agreed.
have the intentions of just wanting to help. Like nobody has been saying, "Oh, I'm just going to go there to peddle my shit, or I'm just going to go and sell my shit," right? Because you know a lot of conventions, that's what people do. They're just going to go
Yeah.
set up here my table and sell my shit. No,
Yeah.
everyone that I've talked to so far is just wanting to go to connect with other people and to showcase to see what value there is in other people that they can connect with, and maybe they can connect with their business or their thing, their service or product or whatever. Let's see how we can combine forces and just make it better and bigger and go forward with it. And I think that's what's beautiful about it, and that's why I think it's perfect, because we are Military Creator Con, right? It's
We
the
are.
people, the quality
Yeah.
of the people, not the size of the convention. It's the quality and the intent of the people, and the intent is you got it. We're just there to
Yeah.
help.
I absolutely agree. I couldn't agree with you more. I think you've encapsulated it so perfectly that that's really what we're about. It's a movement, as I say, instead of just a convention. It's like you know,
It's a movement. Yes, a movement, Mara. Mara's movement.
oh boy. So
Wait,
not just mine. It's all of ours.
that's that sounds like a dietary problem there.
Oh,
We'll deal
wow,
with
that kind of movement. Oops.
well, how was Mara's movement today?
Oh
No, I'm just
boy.
kidding. Don't share it in there.
Oh boy. I
Is
can't
there?
believe we going there on air. Okay.
We'll go anywhere here.
Yeah,
Is there?
I'm an open book. Yes, let's talk about my movements. It's fine. Whatever.
Is there anything you want to share? Anything else you want to share about Military Creator Con, about yourself, about anything before we
Um,
sign off?
no, I feel really lucky to be, spearheading something that I think will be, that I believe wholeheartedly will live on far beyond my involvement. And I believe that. I believe it's going to have, I mean, it already has a certain great momentum, right? It already has a certain, but I think it will endure. And I think it will endure because it's about the people, and it's about, like I said, it's that movement, to kind
You're
of,
gonna think about that for every
I'm
time I
forever now.
say
Like, I'm not going to be able to say it anymore. Um,
it.
it's totally fucked me up. I can't say it anymore. But anyway, it's about you, Rex. I mean, it's you. It's all the 25 people that are on the team that are helping to bring it to life. It's all the people who are offered to help in different ways. It's all the people that want to go and make it better and collaborate and contribute and get something. I just think it's taking on a life of its own, and I'm so happy about that. Now it's a
Yeah,
bitch to put together,
yeah, yeah. But we'll do it. We'll get it
but
done.
we'll,
We'll
we'll
get
get it
there.
done. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll get it done. I can't wait for you. One of the things, by the way, I can't wait for. I'm sorry to kind of keep this going, but there's a special place in my heart for the podcast that is going to be done right there live,
yeah.
with
I can't
you.
wait.
I can't wait to have that whole area sort of set up and have people come in and out and give you a couple of
Let
minutes to give you an hour, whatever it is that we're going to do there. You're in charge of all that. So I'm all excited to see what comes out of
Let's
that.
have that open chair. Let's talk
Yeah.
about what you want to do. What do you want to
Yeah.
do? What do you want to? Where do you want to go? What business do you want to start? Right. And then
Yeah.
we're going to be talking with all of you too. Everyone there that has already spoken, we're going to talk because everyone still has so much more to say.
Yeah.
This
I
hour.
definitely talk too much, but
No, it's not. We're right on time. Everything's perfect. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for creating something, y'all. Creating something that's going to leave a lasting legacy for veterans, because we can't thank our veterans enough for their sacrifice, for their
yeah.
time, because it's
Yeah,
so.
it
Thank
sounds hokey
you.
when I say, like, thank you for my freedom. Thank you for my service. I know it sounds hokey, but the truth is I could cry because I know, what that means to me. And what that means to me is I didn't serve, and my freedoms are only the result of all the things you guys have done, all of you.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm going to try and start something different here with veterans, because I've spoken to many veterans, and then also for myself. I'm going to try and change this "thank you for your service" to just "thank you,"
yeah,
because there is a change. There is a change in here that happens when you say "thank you for your service." For myself, it's like there are certain things that we're proud of, and there are certain things that we're not proud of,
right.
and then we start thinking, "Wait, what are you? You're thanking me for doing that? You know what I mean?"
It's funny. James has a funny reaction to it too. I think because he's just so service oriented in general. He has a funny reaction to the thank you for your service too. Like, I think it's
Yeah,
because so many people
yeah,
he served with didn't come back or whatever it was. Like,
yeah.
there's some survivor guilt
There's a
there
lot of
potentially,
things
but
going on there, so
yeah, a lot of things surrounded with that. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and let's try and change that. Let's just try it. I doubt. Please, this is a huge overtaking, right? But let's try and just say thank you. Hey, man, thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not thanking you for your service. I'm just
Somebody
thanking you.
once said to me, I wonder how this works. So, much older Vietnam veteran said to me once, I said, I just want to say thank you for your service and and your sacrifice. He goes, that's it. Yeah, there was sacrifice. So I'm
Yeah,
like, thank you for
because
your sacrifice.
a lot of people that were not in the military, they connect with sacrifice with the life, and it's not just the life, right? Because there are a lot of us lost family members,
Right.
right? And not to like death, but I mean to like divorce. We've
Right.
lost kids through divorce. We've lost, right, other military members through, whether it's like mission fatality type stuff, or just throughout their sickness, again, people die. And
Right.
yeah, it's tough. It's just tough all around. So sacrifice is, but it's pretty accurate. Yeah. But maybe But thank you covers everything.
Rex, thank you.
I love it. Marah, thank you too. Look at that. 15 seconds. Last seconds to go. What are you going to say? Say something.
I love you, Rex. Thank you for everything.
We all love you too.
I'm grateful for you, and I can't wait to build something big with you. So thank you.
Me too. Legacy. Thanks, Marah. You ready? It's time to
Yeah.
sign off. In
Thanks,
3,
guys.
2, 1.